In today's Leeds news, Youth signs on loan, fee agreed for summer exit, Archer's feelings on deadline day miss, Elvedi summer plans, Backlash on Fixture move and chances of a Solomon permanent deal. Morning folks, Jay here at The View on Friday morning the 7th of February with your Leeds United news. Last news video of the week. There will be a warm-up video that will go out for 8 a.m. in the morning. You can check that out tomorrow morning. We're still working on the watch along over on Big Up. That might be a little bit trickier because the FA Cup games are nearly impossible to get over here, so we'll have to see, but I'll let you know as soon as I know. But we'll crack on with the news today because there's a bit of stuff floating around and we'll get into this, and we'll start off with a youth signing that was confirmed yesterday by the club. Yesterday it was confirmed that Leeds United had completed a loan move for 17-year-old Manchester United winger Brooklyn Nfonku. The 17-year-old has signed on a youth loan deal for the remainder of this season and will join up with the Leeds United under-21 squad for the remainder of the season. Brooklyn did, however, start his career at Leeds United as a youth and only left back in the 21-22 season to go to Manchester City. So Brooklyn returns to Leeds United for now, at least in the short term, and they will have a chance to see the exciting winger take on the challenge of Leeds under-21s for the remainder of this season. So we'll see how that one goes and keep an eye and see what happens with that move in the longer term. Moving on, let's talk about a fee being agreed for an exit, and the thinning of the fringes of the Leeds United squad will continue into the summer with plenty of players expected to leave. And reports today have been confirmed that Leeds have agreed a fee for a potential summer exit should all the stars align. Preston are said to be keen to keep Sam Greenwood on a permanent deal after his loan expires at the end of this season, and Greenwood has netted 7 goals with 2 assists so far during this loan. Speaking to the Lancashire Post, Preston chairman Peter Ridsdale said that a fee had already been agreed between the two clubs, and speaking on the totality of the situation, Ridsdale said the following: "The Leeds promotion or otherwise is not a complicating factor because all of that's been taken into account in the numbers that we've already agreed between us and Leeds. If Sam says I'd like to sign for Preston, and if the manager says I'd like him to sign, the finances are already agreed. Whether Leeds stay down or go up is irrelevant." The option to buy Sam Greenwood, the fee is estimated to be £1.5 million, the same fee that was included in his loan deal last summer when he went to Middlesbrough, and it's all lined up now for a manager and player to have a conversation, agree a move, and it's all done and dusted, and Sam Greenwood likely will head off to Preston in the summer should that be the option he decides that he wants to take up. Moving on. Outrage of deadline day has calmed a little bit after Leeds' win against Coventry City the other night, but one of the moves that didn't go through was the probably main target, Cameron Archer. And Graham Bailey has been speaking about the transfer window, and one of the topics that came up was the failed move of Cameron Archer from Southampton to Leeds United. The deal that looked like it may go through right up until deadline, but ultimately didn't materialise. Bailey was discussing how Archer felt about the failed move, and on the move falling through, he said the following: "Cameron Archer wanted to move. There is no doubting that. He wants to be in the Premier League next season and in the longer term. No doubt he feels he would be better served at Leeds than Southampton." It also goes on to say that Archer himself felt that a move to Leeds would guarantee him Premier League football next year, whereas with Southampton, it's likely to be a relegation back to the Championship, and then it's a free-for-all in the summer to see whether they can hang on to him or whether he moves elsewhere after only joining the club last summer. So, interesting one to keep an eye on there. Leeds may make a move back for him in the summer, but we would imagine Leeds will go for a higher calibre striker. Remains to be seen. We'll have to wait and find out. But we will talk about a player that was linked heavily with Leeds during the January, and reports in Germany today state that he could be on his way to Leeds in the summer, and that's Nico Elvedi. He was one of the key players linked during the January window, and Borussia Mönchengladbach were said to be the main preventing factor in any move happening. Elvedi was always said to be open to a move to England, but only to a Premier League side, and Daniel Farke has worked with Elvedi in the past, and they have some history. And according to reports in Germany, Daniel Farke had pushed hard to get the Nico Elvedi deal done in January, only for it to be knocked back and failed to get an agreement with Gladbach. Now, according to Bild in Germany, they claim that Borussia Mönchengladbach are planning a massive overhaul to their entire defensive unit in the summer, and that could mean now that Nico Elvedi will be free to leave the club soon. The report also claims that Elvedi wanted to move to England as far back as 18 months ago when a move to Wolverhampton Wanderers fell through, but Elvedi is said to still be keen on moving to England, and Leeds have been tipped as a side to make it happen. In the report, it says that Leeds are tipped to make a move for the experienced centre-back in the summer. Again, the relationship between Farke, and the big one here was always Nico Elvedi always felt like a Premier League level signing. He's a very good, experienced centre-back, and Leeds making a move for him in the summer makes perfect sense once we're hopefully confirmed as going back to the Premier League. Elvedi is a very sure pair of hands at the back, defensively anyway. Moving on. There was some backlash online, and rightfully so, over Sky's latest fixture move, and Leeds have had to deal with some crazy fixture moves for the pleasure of Sky Sports, but the latest one that sees the Portsmouth Leeds game moved to a crazy time has been criticised heavily online and seems to lack any kind of common sense or consideration for travelling fans. One of the longest trips of the season is Leeds to Portsmouth, and that has now been made even more difficult with Sky and ITV's combined latest fixture change. Sky have moved the Portsmouth v Leeds game to a mid-morning kickoff on Sunday, which really doesn't take any travelling fan into consideration at all. There has been some rightful supporter backlash online as well as local reporters, and the Portsmouth fans have also backed this up, having to make the similar trip to Elland Road earlier this season when their kickoff was also moved for Sky Sports to an early kickoff. Elland Road to Fratton Park is approximately 258 miles. That's a 5 hour and 20 minute drive one way, so 10 hours and 40 overall. That's been made even trickier with this move to mid-morning kickoff, which means fans heading down to Portsmouth who are driving will need to be leaving their houses between 5 and 6 a.m. YEP chief reporter Graham Smith has rightfully slammed Sky and ITV for this latest move, as it appears to be being a joint decision to move the fixture. Speaking on X, Graham Smith said the following: "Football is for the fans, not you fans who go to games. Don't be ridiculous and selfish. Now get to Portsmouth for a mid-morning on a Sunday and make the atmosphere so it sounds good on TV." Very sarcastic and very obvious what Graham Smith was doing there, but very well said by Graham Smith. Last year, Sky Sports spokesman said that Sky were aiming to try and fix some of the grievances between them and Leeds United supporters in an attempt to reduce the anti-Sky chanting that has been heard around Elland Road. They followed that up by moving 3 of Leeds games to a 6-day period and have continued to push games into tighter and tighter periods, especially this season after international breaks. And this move now really goes to show that Sky didn't really have any genuine interest in settling their grievances with Leeds fans. The main grievance being they don't consider fans when they move their fixtures. So yeah, there you go. And we move on to the final story of the day, and a potentially promising one for the summer, and this one relates to Manor Solomon. Team Talk have been chatting to the Leeds United loanee this week, and the topic of his future did obviously come up. Solomon has been one of Leeds' most influential players this season. It's hard to imagine going back to a few months ago when a portion of the fans wanted to cancel his loan and send him back during a spell when he was injured based on his previous injury record, but that didn't happen, and Solomon has been in fantastic form for Leeds and a very much a driving force towards getting Leeds back to the Premier League. Solomon, speaking to Team Talk, refused to rule out a permanent stay at Elland Road, but did say that that stay would be on one condition: Premier League football. But the best case scenario happened, a deal is expected to be struck between the clubs and the players. What that looks like financially will remain to be seen, but so far Solomon has 13 goal involvements in 25 appearances this season for Leeds. And speaking to Team Talk on his future, Solomon said the following: "In my mind, I want to get back to the Premier League where I belong. That's my goal. I understand that the best way to get back to myself and the Premier League is to go with Leeds. A club like Leeds, I think, must get back to the Premier League, and that's a very, very big goal for the team and me. It's something that I really, really want. I really, really want to get back to the Premier League." As I say, he's been excellent for Leeds, but he went on to finish off by saying that he is doing everything in his power to help Leeds United get back to the Premier League. Said that line an awful lot now today, but that's the goal. We're in that point of the season, 16 games to go. We're very much in that space of talking about the running and where we're going to finish at the end of the season, and obvious conversations around players' futures will come up. But it's great to see there's some interest from Solomon in sticking around at Leeds. If he can go injury free till the end of the season, I think we've got incredible value out of that move, and he has been really, really important to Leeds. The link-up play on either wing between himself and Dan James has been phenomenal, and Solomon has a really good relationship with Junior Firpo on that left-hand side as well. So all very, very good, positive stuff, and fingers crossed we can make that move permanent and keep him until next season as well. Folks, that will be it for me today. Massive thank you as always for supporting the channel. You can hit like and subscribe if you want to. We're heading towards 60,000 subscribers. I'll be back tomorrow on Big Up, hopefully for a watch along, but I will let you know on the community tab and on X as well. You can keep an eye on that. If not, I'm back for a review probably on Sunday, and then the news again on Monday, and we go again for another busy week of Leeds action. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.